It's only 11 a.m. right now, but today is already the most shocking day in media this year so far. We just got news about 30 minutes ago, multiple updates about a minute apart that has shaken up the year. Shannon Sharpe has been officially fired by ESPN, and Gilbert Arenas just got arrested by the feds, and he's facing 15 years in prison. Now, let's tackle the Shannon Sharpe news because that's a little less shocking and more predictable, and then we'll get to this Gilbert Arenas madness. With the help of the ultimate ambulance chaser, Tony Busby, an OF model in her 20s, sued a 50-plus-year-old Shannon Sharpe for grape and related abuse, what she would say occurred in their 2-year relationship. Now, Shannon Sharpe initially came out and said he's innocent, he's going to fight this tooth and nail, this is an extortion ploy. He really took a stance that a lot of men appreciated. Because regardless if you have Shannon Sharpe money or not, it just leaves a bad taste in any man's mouth who watch a woman engage in consensual relations for 2 years and then wakes up one day and say, I'm going to sue this man for $50 million. It just doesn't make sense. And then messages got released where she's telling him to pay $25,000 for each cheek, allegedly after the quote unquote grape and violations happened. It just screamed like an extortion ploy. And Shannon Sharpe took a stance that we thought he was going to stick to, but he didn't.
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Busby want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about. And I'm going to be out there telling you whatever I need to say, just like I always do. I love all you guys.
Shortly after this announcement, it was revealed that Shannon Sharpe was taking a hiatus away from ESPN and that he will be back at the start of the football season. So Shannon Sharpe said this was mutually agreed upon, that he wanted to take a step back from ESPN to focus on this, and he'll be back. And they all assured that he did not get fired, that he was still a part of the ESPN team, and we still love Shannon Sharpe. But behind the scenes, there are rumblings that, man, after like that chick released audio of apparently Shannon Sharpe saying he would choke her, apparently this was something that her and Shannon Sharpe did. It was some role play stuff. But once she released the audio out of context, ESPN said, bro, this is just too messy, man. And there was rumblings that Shannon Sharpe was done at ESPN for good. But they would still maintain the fact that Shannon Sharpe was going to be back at the start of football season. Well, preseason has started. Shannon Sharpe hasn't been back at ESPN. So while people were trying to figure that out, we got a bombshell that got released that made everybody look at Shannon Sharpe a little crazy. So we got word that Shannon Sharpe and the accuser reached a settlement, right? And this came after, like a week after we got reports that the court date that was scheduled for Shannon Sharpe and the accuser to have their first day in court, none of like the parties showed up. Like Shannon Sharpe and his attorneys never showed up, and Tony Busby and Gabby never showed up. So that was strange. So I guess a settlement was reached like a week before. So the first question is, come on, bruh. A settlement? Shannon Sharpe offered this chick $10 million apparently before they came forward. So if they rejected $10 million, can you imagine what they settled for? And that's before we got reports on exactly what the amount was. Tony Busby actually released a statement after the news of the settlement got released. And he said both sides acknowledge a long-term consensual and tumultuous relationship. After protracted and respectful negotiations, I'm pleased to announce that we have reached a mutually agreed upon resolutions. All matters have now been addressed satisfactorily, and the matter is closed. Yo, when you put language like that, man, you know you content, bro. You satisfied. You good with what the outcome is. And then after Tony Busby said this, To make matters worse for Shannon Sharpe in the eyes of the public, Gabby released a statement of her own, and this statement really pissed men off everywhere, bro. I'm talking about boiled the blood of men everywhere. A statement like this really makes me despise Shannon Sharpe. Gabby released a statement letting the world know she is officially retired after the settlement. So Gabrielle Zuniga wrote a statement. Now, she didn't address the fact that, she pushed Shannon Sharpe through hell. She just says, today, I have decided to retire from OFs. Thank you for the incredible support you've shown me over the past few years. This community has given me a life I could have never imagined. I'll still be active on social media and have several new projects in the works that I can't wait to share. I'm truly excited for this new chapter. I love you all forever and ever. And the reason why this pissed off a lot of men, because the very thought that degeneracy, like lies. Now, if Shannon Sharpe settled, maybe she wasn't lying. But the very thought that this woman lied, used degeneracy, used hoeing to a retirement at 23 years old, that pissed off a lot of men, bro. And it made me look at Shannon Sharpe a little crazy, bro. Because from his first message, I thought he was for the cause. I thought Shannon Sharpe was going to ride us out. But then reports came out that Shannon Sharpe settled for $23 million. He put $23 million in his woman's pockets. That right there just pissed me off to the point where, I can't even look at Shannon Sharpe the same. I haven't watched a Shannon Sharpe nightcap episode since. I haven't watched a Shannon Sharpe interview since. I can't even look at that man the same, bro. You retired a 23-year-old scallywag. She won't ever have to work again for the rest of her life. And you only got to clap cheeks for a year and a half? And half of that, you was paying for the cheeks because we seen the messages. She's telling you $25K a cheek. Bro, I despise you, man. And ESPN was apparently as disgusted as the rest of us because ESPN announced this morning they're done with Shannon Sharpe. He's fired. They have parted ways. Now, this was not like an amicable statement. This was not like the previous statement. We have mutually decided to put. No, he's fired. We have let him go. Sports Illustrated confirmed the news that Shannon Sharpe was fired by Andrew Marchand. Now, there was no talks of a settlement of a buyout because when he left Fox or when he got fired from Fox, there was a buyout. Fox paid out the rest of his salary. But with ESPN, they had every right to fire Shannon Sharpe. I believe there's some type of moral clause there. So Shannon Sharpe was hoping, that he could probably have them buy out some of his contract. If let's say Shannon Sharpe contract was 5 years, $25 million, and this is like the first year and he was still owed, let's say $20 million. Well, they would have had to buy out Shannon Sharpe for the $20 million if they just wanted him to go away. But when you fire Shannon Sharpe for violating like your rules, you don't have to pay him out nothing. And that's what it looks like. Now, Shannon Sharpe was in the works of a $100 million podcast deal before this lawsuit. I don't know if that podcast deal is still on the table, bro. I'm sorry. I don't know, bro. All right, because now whoever was about to sign Shannon Sharpe, they got all the leverage. Right now they can throw Shannon Sharpe probably 50 of this. $50 million is still a blessing, especially after paying Gabby Zuniga $23 million.
We have breaking news. Having just learned, former NBA star Gilbert Arenas has been arrested. He and 5 others are accused of operating an illegal gambling business. The Department of Justice says they had high-stakes poker games at Arenas' Encino mansion. Arenas is charged with 1 count of conspiracy to operate an illegal gambling business, 1 count of operating an illegal gambling business, and 1 count of making false statements to federal investigators. He's expected to appear in court this afternoon in downtown L.A. We will continue to follow this story throughout the day here on Eyewitness News.
The headline for this Gilbert Arenas arrest made this situation sound even crazier than what it already is. It's already crazy Gilbert Arenas is being arrested by the feds. But to say that Gilbert Arenas is being arrested by the feds and his co-defendant is somebody tied to an organized crime organization in Israel, it's crazy. Bro, what type of stuff are you getting into, sir? So the official headline is a former NBA star Gilbert Arenas, a suspected Israeli crime figure, were arrested today on federal indictment alleging they operate an illegal gambling business in which high-stakes poker games were played at an Encino mansion Arenas owned. My biggest question whenever I get news like one of these multi-super rich millionaires dudes are involved in organized crime, it's like, why? Was there a financial incentive here? you're Gilbert Arenas. Like, bro, your podcast make $1 million a month. You probably got about like 20 or 30 M's left over from the NBA alone. Your son about to be, well, he's been injured, but your son might just be a lottery pick in the NBA. So you good in that regards. Your other son looking like he's going to be a lottery pick in the NBA as well if he grows a couple more inches. Bro, you set for life. You don't need the extra money from crime. You just don't. So when I read exactly what took place and I read the indictment, Gilbert Arenas himself never participated in the high-stake poker games or the illegal gambling. Gilbert Arenas was sitting at the top of the food chain because he owned the mansion and he rented out the mansion and he got a portion of the proceeds. So if this is an international crime boss who's running this, and this is high-stakes poker, we're talking about millions of dollars on a daily basis is coming in and out of that mansion. And Gilbert Arenas got a cut of it. First thing I noticed, none of this dude's like co-defendants got like English names, homie. All his co-defendants, man, Yagivani Groshman, Ivajani Tokofakasisk, Alan Australia, Johan Cohen. Oh, no. We know what this is, homie. Ivakan Krashak. So all his co-defendants are from Israel, Israelis, okay? So the indictment says former NBA star Gilbert Arenas and 5 other defendants, including a suspected high-level member of an Israeli transnational organized crime group, were arrested today on a federal indictment alleging they operated an illegal gambling business in which high-stake poker games were played at an Encino mansion Gilbert Arenas owned. Now, it says that Gilbert Arenas, Agent Zero of Woodland Hills, is charged with 1 count of conspiracy to operate an illegal gambling business, 1 count of operating an illegal gambling business, and 1 count of making false statements to federal prosecutors. Now, each one of these charges got a maximum of 5 years. So he's facing 15 years maximum, okay? He is scheduled to make, so right now he's still in custody, by the way. So he's scheduled to make his initial appearance and be arraigned this afternoon. Now, when you like scroll down and you read this, like Gilbert Arenas never really gambled, but he was getting proceeds from the illegal operation that was going on in his mansion. And these people were operating this like a legal casino. You would think if this was like illegal and not allowed and something that faced this much of like severe punishment, you would think that these people wouldn't be operating this as like flamboyantly as they were. So according to the indictment, on July 15th and until today, from September 2021 to July 2022, Gresham, Arenas, and other defendants operated an illegal gambling business. Arenas, this is his role in it. He rented out an Encino mansion he owned for the purpose of hosting high-stake illegal poker games at Arenas' direction. Now, they're claiming that Arenas was the one at the top. Now, I don't think that Gilbert Arenas is bossing around a transnational crime boss, but they claim that Gilbert Arenas directed Arthur and West Hollywood, staged the mansion to host the games, found co-conspirators to host the games, and collected rent from the co-conspirators on Gilbert Arenas' behalf. So, now, I'll be real, this is worse than I thought. I was thinking that these dudes approached Gilbert Arenas and said, hey, bro, we want to host high-stake poker games here. Can we rent out the mansion and we'll give you a fee? They're saying, nah, Gilbert Arenas came up with this idea on his own. Hold on, man. But we can have multi-million-dollar deals going on in this mansion that I don't use, and they can just pay me. Oh, no. So Gilbert Arenas is who sought out the crime bosses. This is crazy, okay? So it goes on. Gresham to Vakashaki, Austria, and Cohen managed illegal pot limit Omaha poker games, among other illegal games at the Encino mansion, and collected a rake. It's a fee the house charged from each pot, either a percentage or a fixed amount per hand, and invited players to compete. They also hired young women who, in exchange for tips, served drinks, provided massages, offered companionship to the poker players. Hold on, bro. Hold on. They got trafficking included in this? The women were charged a tax, a percentage of their earnings from working the games. So understand what's happening here, bro. A tax from working the games. They were offering companionship. Man, bro, they was selling coochie in there, bro. Hold on, bro. Illegal. Oh, Gilbert, you messed up, bro. Gilbert, nah, bro. Nah, bro. Bro. You had like a Diddy party mixed with an Italian mob style. Nah, this is crazy, bro. So chefs, valets, and armed security guards also were hired to staff these illegal poker games. Krishan worked as a chip runner in which to track player wins and losses, distributed poker chips to players, and pay employees. Can you imagine being a police, right? And you just driving by one day, not really understanding what's going on. You just driving by doing your routine shift run. And you see armed security outside, you see Bugattis and Rolls Royces being valeted. You see girls walking in like poker uniforms. You're asking yourself, wait, what's going on here? Now it's unclear exactly how they got caught. I guess we'll find out once the indictment gets uploaded. But this is bad, man. This is bad. And Gilbert Arenas was just on a podcast making fun of Malik Beasley and his illegally gambling situation. Gambling is whooping y'all behinds, man. Y'all got to give it up at this point, man. But y'all let me know in the comment section, man. What do you guys think about these two stories? And should I start doing more videos where I combine two stories? Let me know, okay? And if you're still watching, click on this video right here to find out how Black Twitter just ended this dude's career and made him quit the internet after this particular post. Click on this video right here to find out what I'm talking about. I'm out of here, folks. Peace.